Welcome to Burn the Ship, the podcast that helps entrepreneurs go all in on their business, and we introduce them to professionals that can help them to do so. Today, we have a very special guest, Danny Boles. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks. Thanks so much for coming on today, and go ahead and introduce yourself and the name of your business.
Gotcha. Name's Danny Boles, and my business is SR Appliance Depot. We've got a showroom in Brookhaven. We're a luxury and high-end appliance dealer.
Awesome. Man, we look forward to hearing more about that, but we do want to learn a little bit more about your journey. We understand that time is one of our most valuable resources, so go ahead and tell us a little bit about how you got here.
Gotcha. So do you want the full chronological version, or do you want the Reader's Digest?
Hey, listen, man, you go ahead and tell us everything you want. It's your show, your time, you share.
All right. So one of the little known facts about me is I was actually, thanks to the United States Air Force, born abroad.
Okay.
As part of my identity, part of my story, I was born in England.
Okay.
In a Royal England hospital. My father was actually serving a joint task. So I don't know what it's called, but he was, instead of being on a U.S. air base, he was actually on a Royal Air Force base.
Okay.
And so we actually lived out in the country in Oxford, England for a while. So that's kind of cool, kind of bit of background on who I am and where I come from. But then when we came back across the pond to the United States, I grew up in Tennessee, Texas, Georgia most of my life. So moved around quite a bit. Also part of who I am today. All in, I was at, I think, 13, 14 different schools between kindergarten and college. So, anywhere I go, like you've always known, I've never known a stranger.
That's right.
I just walk into a room, get to know people really easily. So I really credit that childhood experience being a big piece of that. But I studied marketing and finance at Kennesaw State. Had to work my way through school. I didn't have the luxury of growing up in a home where money was readily available. But I knew I wanted to go to school because that was really that was the outcome of I wasn't able to go into the military.
Okay.
Honestly, the truth is I was a stubborn teenager, and they wouldn't let me do what I wanted to do. But I always jokingly say they wouldn't let me. I wanted to fly a plane, but because I have prescription glasses, that was a no-go. So I actually looked at the Air Force, they said no. Looked at the Marines, they said no. Looked at the Army, they said no. Looked at the Coast Guard, they said no. And I was like, well, screw you guys. I'll just go to college. So anyway, I went to college, studied marketing and finance. Came out of that, and while I was in school, actually started working for one of the big banks. Started as a teller, worked my way up to loan officer, ended up being an assistant branch manager. So pretty solid foundation there in banking and finance. And my plan was actually to go to the investment side of bank and be an investment banker. That got derailed in 2000 when they laid off a bunch of people. I was one of the last ones in, first ones out kind of thing. But that taught me a lot about business and about everybody's a number, and so you gotta make your way, right? Like you gotta be really forward thinking, and you gotta never put your eggs in somebody else's basket. You gotta own your stuff, kind of thing. So really kind of took a pause, worked a lot of odd jobs, probably for the next 6 to 12 months. I was a stagehand for a little while because I love music. And I was like, it makes good money. I'll do that. I did a couple of temp jobs, but then got really fortunate and landed an internship with a Dutch company called ING.
Okay.
That was a year-long internship, and uncommon to most internships. This one was actually paid, had PTO, had benefits, the whole 9 yards. It was a lot of fun and lots of cool stuff I got to do. Was working with very high level executives, doing some really neat stuff, working on some cool projects, traveling. And when you're in your early 20s, that's pretty awesome.
Gravy. Yeah.
But then I had gotten married, had my first child, and your priorities shift drastically when that happens.
When that baby comes, it changes.
It does, man. It changes you.
Absolutely.
So we kind of had a very intentional conversation. You'll hear that word from me a lot, intentional, about, expectations as parents, as spouses, as partners in life. And I ended up leaving that career and actually stepping into a stay-at-home parent role for a little while. Did that for a little while, and then as the kids started getting older, it was like, okay, I can go back to work, kind of thing. I did some mission work, some nonprofit work, some ministry work for about a decade, and then came back into the insurance and financial world. So majority of my adult life, I've been an insurance agent and investment person.
Okay.
A little over 26 years doing that. Worked everywhere from the corporate side to the retail side, everywhere from independent to captive, and kind of a hybrid model in between for several years with Nationwide. Thought I was going to actually own my own agency with Nationwide, but then they pulled out of the state of Georgia, and so that kind of killed that.
Yeah.
At the time I was like, that stinks, but I looked at it from both angles and realized, it wasn't a personal thing, it was a business thing. They were losing their shirt in Georgia, and so financially it didn't make sense for them. So I understood that. I landed at State Farm shortly after that and was there for several years until really kind of last year. Started really digging deep into sort of a midlife existential career crisis, if you want to call it that. But I had kind of reached a plateau. Was very successful, made lots of great money. People still to this day think of me as an insurance advisor, as an investment advisor, but I'm not doing that anymore because I kind of reached that point where I was burnt out between a divorce and COVID, and also just kind of plateauing career-wise. I just wasn't loving it, and something was off, something didn't feel right about it. I'd really honestly just lost my passion for it, and so that's kind of how I ended up in the appliance business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seems like it was a different type of journey. Seems like you still utilize what you went to school for, in your finance and your marketing. You definitely had to do that as a insurance agent, letting people know that you were out there. And, there were just some ups and downs, it sounded like. And it sounds like it was just life was lifing.
Life was lifing.
At that particular time when you were going through, all right, I am just in this void space when it came to the insurance and life, was there an event that happened that just said, you know what, I'm just gonna burn that ship and go all in on something new? Was it something that happened that made you end up doing that?
Yeah. So I'm a big believer in patterns, and particularly threes.
Okay.
Some of that's because of my faith, very much Christian in my belief, and so the Trinity is kind of a big deal to me. 3 has always been an important number to me. But 3 years in a row, I watched my production go up, my app count and premium and all that stuff up, but my income kept going down.
Okay.
And it's really just a result of some of the changes happening in the insurance industry. I went into that business actually because of the annuity income, right? So some people think of annuity as a bad word, but really all annuity is you've got residual income that you can count on coming in, right? And the longer you're in the business, the more you grow your book of business, the more that annuity income grows. So basically you sort of build like a base income, right? A base salary. It's all commission, but you kind of build over time a base salary. Very similar to merchant services, But that went away many years ago, and they replaced it with a fixed base salary, very low, very modest base. And because of my experience, I actually had a higher base, one of the highest in the industry, really. And that was really just a testament to my success and my experience. But commission rates kind of starting to get capped and starting to get reduced over time, and not just at the producer level, but even the agency owner level. There's just a lot of shift and change happening in the industry, and the numbers are the numbers. And so if you're the corporate executive for an Allstate, a State Farm, a Nationwide, a Farmers, any of those companies, you've got to figure out how to make it work, because at the end of the day, their job is to make sure that there's money in the reserves to pay the claims.
Yes.
And if there's not, then they don't have any purpose for existing, and everybody's kind of out of luck. So, I get the numbers and understand it, but it also is sort of sobering to be like, I've been in this business nearly 3 decades. My income's going down. I mentioned briefly that I divorced, but I have 3 kids. There's certain things that you got to look out for as a dad, as a parent. And I want to make sure that the income is sustainable for, taking care of everything. And it's not. So that really kind of forced me into a pattern of thinking through, okay, something's got to change. How do I get my income up? Or, do I shift over to a corporate role? Do I start looking for a sales manager role? What do I do? And so I really went to my sales manager at the time, my boss, who was the agency owner at the time, who was incredibly supportive through that process for me. And I went to my council of advisors, right? About 10 to 12 friends of mine that I very much lean on in those critical moments of, hey, I got to make a big decision. I don't want to make this alone, and I don't want to make it in haste, right? So I went to them and was like, guys, I'm burnt out. I'm exhausted. Income's going down. I've reached that point where I honestly kind of dread going to work every day. I'm good at it. I'm successful, but I don't love it anymore. Right. When you lose that fire, it's time for a big change. So didn't know what that was. At that point, I'd kind of fired up my resume, started putting it out there, did a bunch of interviews, had a bunch of great offers. Some of them were seriously really lucrative, but they involved traveling 50, 60, 70% of the time. Yeah. And just nothing really hit me, like it was either I've got to travel too much, and with kids that are involved in everything, that sort of is a limitation in this season of my life. 10 years from now, not a big deal, but right now,
yeah, it matters.
It's a limitation. And one of my values, one of my commitments is I'm not going to not be there, right, for my kids. So I just wasn't willing to make those sacrifices. There were some other offers that were, decent offers, thought about them, but nothing really excited me. And then actually a buddy of mine connected me to SR and the owner. I had a couple interviews. The interviews went fantastic. There was something about it that was kind of exciting and appealing, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, I don't know anything about these high-end luxury appliances. I mean, I know appliances because I've used them all my life. I know how to use a range, I know how to use a microwave, I know how to use a dishwasher, I know how to use a washer and dryer, but I don't know the product. You know what I mean? And so that was sort of a real big hesitation on my end. And then, kind of back and forth, him and hawing about it. One night we're at my house, a bunch of us hanging out, and a buddy of mine looks at me and goes, Danny, you are one of the most slow people I've ever met. When it comes to this sort of stuff. And I'm like, well, that's on purpose. I'm intentional that way. He's like, no, I don't mean like that. I mean like you're daft. Thanks, bro. Appreciate that. That's a little bit,
Yeah, your friends will be honest with you. Though. That's what they're there for. Yeah.
And I said, well, tell me more. What do you mean? He's like, where are we right now? We're at my house. He's like, no. More specifically, where are we? Kind of thinking, and I'm like, deer in headlights, man. Like, I'm lost. I'm in my kitchen. Yeah, exactly. Every time we're over here hanging out, we're either in your kitchen or on your back porch, and every time you're either cooking or you're pretending to be the bartender, and you're always entertaining, and you're really good at it. Okay, what's your point? He's like, you're a good salesperson, you're a good advisor, people trust you, and you love doing this. Dude, connect the dots. Right. And all of a sudden that light bulb kind of started to flicker, and I was like, oh, I see. It's just one of those moments where you're just like, okay, the learning curve is the learning curve. Yeah. That's going to be true of any major career change. Anytime you light that match, throw it, and burn the ship, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You gotta learn something new.
Yeah.
There isn't an entrepreneur or a business out there that didn't have to learn something new.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped me realize, oh, I have a passion for these certain things. I have a really strong skill set for these things. I read a book when I was in college that my very first real boss, that internship, gave to me called Do What You Love and the Money Will Follow.
Yes.
And so all of a sudden it just kind of came together, and I was like, okay, I love to entertain. I love to cook. I love to do all that stuff. I'm pretty much always in the kitchen or my outdoor kitchen, which is even more important to me than the indoor kitchen. Let's give it a go.
Yeah.
Well, I've got, nothing to lose, and I've got everything to lose, So I put all my chips in and I'm running with it, man, and it's been a blast. It's been such a blessing. Yeah.
It seems like with you loving to do that entertaining, you already are cooking all the time. And most importantly, what I've grabbed from it is it's something that you enjoy doing. It's one of those passions that you had anyway, and now it seems like you're going to be able to merge the two, being out there helping people to see the enjoyment on your face on what you like to do anyway, which will eventually help you with the sales. And we want to learn all about it. So tell us all about the appliance business.
Gotcha. So at SR, we have a variety of brands that we sell. Anything out there that's high end, for the most part, we probably sell it. So I always tell people, if it cooks, cools, or cleans,
okay,
I can get it.
Okay.
So everything for the kitchen, everything for the bar, everything for the laundry room, everything for that outdoor kitchen, we've got it. Some of the more popular brands that we sell, probably the most of, are going to be Viking, Bosch, AGA, Gaggenau, Thermador, Fulgor Milano. On the laundry side, it's a lot of Miele, Asco, Speed Queen, LG even. We offer all those brands. But, you know, it's really, truly, if you just kind of close your eyes and imagine whatever your dream kitchen looks like, my job is to make that dream come true, right? Everything from 30-inch ranges to 60-inch ranges. Dual fuel, so gas cooktops and electric ovens. Induction, which is becoming pretty big in America now. It's been around for a little over 40 years. One of the brands that I sell, Fulgor Milano, is a family-owned company, handcrafted, hand-built in Italy, in the Milano region. Actually, phenomenal company with phenomenal products. Their ranges are probably my favorite.
Okay.
Just because of the way they're built and the quality. But you know, it's the attention to detail that they do that really strikes me. The power and the precision and the control they give you when you're cooking, those sorts of things. Like, you know, end of the day, I'm going to ask someone when they come into the showroom, or a builder or designer's calling me, a remodeler's calling me, hey, I've got this client. This is what the specs for the kitchen are like. What can you do? I'm 9 times out of 10, if I can, going to talk to the person that's in that kitchen, right? Whether it's the wife, the husband, family member, chef sometimes, depending on the structure of that home. Hey, what are you cooking? And, you know, what kind of food is it? Are you baking? Are you grilling? Are you frying? Are you just, you know, heating up something in the microwave? What are you actually doing? And, you know, then I kind of begin to boil down from there. Okay, they need, you know, it's overwhelming the number of options that we have, right? End of the day, my job as an advisor, as a consultant, is to help them kind of narrow those options down to what's going to be the best for their kitchen. Right. One of the things I've learned even as a homeowner that can be kind of frustrating is, and this is not a knock on builders, I understand the P&L side of this for the builder, right? They're, depending on the type of builder that they are and how many homes they build a year, if they're a nationwide builder, so think, you know, David Weekley or John Whelan, those kind of, you know, track home builders, they probably have a direct relationship with GE or Whirlpool, right? And they're slapping a 3-piece, 4-piece package in that kitchen. And as the buyer, you don't have a choice. You get what you get. You know, so sometimes I actually go into those brand new construction homes, pull those appliances out because we'll buy them back.
Yes.
And then put in there whatever they want. Right. I'm working with the homeowner on that because they can't do it at the construction phase.
Right.
But more often than not, we're working with custom home builders and remodelers and interior designers that are, you know, from scratch. So that person has a lot more control over what goes in that kitchen. You know, with new construction, the builder puts in there what the builder puts in there. The box, the size of the box is the size of the box. And so unless you rip everything out, you know, we're confined. But, you know, in those remodel situations, interior design situations, new home construction that's with a custom builder, got a lot more flexibility because appliances are one of the first things that you're going to have to spec out. Then you spec out the cabinets and the countertops and everything else. Yeah. Right. So everything gets built around it.
Yeah, because it has to fit in there.
Yeah.
It seems like you're sharing that homeowners, people who are just tired of looking at their current appliances. It seems like you have interior designers are good people to connect you with.
Absolutely.
Even those remodelers, you know, those ones that are going in and taking all the cabinets out and just redoing it all together. Yep. Those are great opportunities for you as well. As we are trying our best to paint the best picture for you, do you mind sharing with us an engagement that you had when you had a client that just said, hey, Danny, I would like this, but I don't really know. Can you give us an idea of that story and how that looks?
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, I had a client that reached out to me that was a referral. And so they had actually gone somewhere else and gotten a quote from them. This particular place that they went first offers a lot of the same brands that I do. They offer one specific company that I don't. And for whatever reason, they're kind of attached to that one company. I don't know if it's just in their contract with them or whatever, but they really push that one brand very hard.
Right.
And so the quote that he had was a $90,000 quote for this new house he's building. And so he was referred to me, and I sat him and his wife down and I said, look, tell me what you really want to accomplish in this kitchen. And it was actually a main kitchen and then a secondary kitchen in the guest house. And so we went through that conversation, and I was like, okay, now tell me a little bit more about your cooking style. And this actually is going to end up being more of like a vacation home for the whole family, because they have 10, 12 kids and about 500 grandkids.
Yes.
So learned a lot more about kind of what they're doing and their style of cooking and their needs. And so then I actually began to put together a custom kitchen package spec'd out just for them, and not just spec'd out for the space, but spec'd out for their style and their preference, right? There's what I call the 4 Ps when I'm looking at a total package, and it's price, 'cause that's number one. What's your budget?
Right.
Performance, power, and pizzazz, right? And I tell people, like, there's 4 Ps, pick 3. So what are the 3 that are the most important to you? The pizzazz one is that's the person that's really more interested in the way it looks. They're not going to use it as much.
Yeah.
Power and performance, that's someone that's really in the kitchen cooking a whole lot more. And then, of course, price is just all about the budget. Right. So for this customer, we ended up actually working out a couple of deals with not only their builder and getting them a builder discount, but also there's a couple brands right now that are offering some great rebates, right? Buy one, get one kind of thing. And it's not common, doesn't happen a lot. But this one brand, Thermador, is offering a fantastic rebate program right now, where if you buy a range, you'll get a hood for free. And if you buy a refrigeration product, there's certain limitations to that, but full refrigeration product, we did full towers for him.
Okay.
You'll get a free dishwasher. And then there's a couple of other upgrades options too. So basically, the more you package out with Thermador, the more they're going to give you, kind of thing. It's a limited time sort of thing. But they're running that through the end of this calendar year.
Okay.
So we put together an entire custom spec kitchen for the main house, for the guest house, and then even threw in a few other things for the wet bar and the garage and everything. We ended up coming in at like $66,000.
Okay.
Versus the $80,000-$90,000 quote they got somewhere else. So we got him a better product that he's a lot happier with, that's spec'd out specifically for what he and his family want, and saved him a pretty good chunk of change.
Yeah.
So that's where we kind of shine. That's what we do.
Yeah, that's why I love hearing the stories of how you take care of people, because we share what we do all the time, and we usually only have like 3 seconds to try to share it. That's why I wanted to give you a chance to elaborate on one of the more recent experiences that you've had with the client. Now, one of the questions that came to my mind as you were sharing was geography-wise. Is it one of those things where it is just an Atlanta metro type thing, or are you guys all over the nation, the world? Tell me a little bit more about the geography.
We can go anywhere in the world, honestly.
Okay.
Now, there's a caveat to that, right? There always is. Cost of shipping, delivery, installation, all that stuff, that's where that kind of becomes more of the challenge, right?
Okay.
In the appliance world, pricing is actually unilateral,
Okay.
right? So it doesn't matter who you buy it from, the manufacturer sets the price. And if anybody drops below the manufacturer's price, they're cutting into the manufacturer's price,
Okay.
which is actually, they can lose their contract. So it's all fixed and it's unilateral. They do give us the exclusive ability to give a builder or a designer a discount. That's usually more so that the builder or the designer pays us directly instead of the homeowner, right? And so they're building it all into their overall rate. But that also helps the builders and designers if they want to add a little more to it to make a little more profit that way, they can. Everybody's happy, kind of thing.
Right.
But really, truly, SR can serve anybody in the Southeast.
Okay.
So definitely all of Georgia. Good bit of Florida. I can really honestly go all the way down to Miami. Getting to the Keys, that's a little tougher just because of the cost of it.
Yeah.
But Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, the Carolinas, that's really
That's your sweet spot there.
it's the sweet spot, and the cost part isn't entirely prohibitive. Now, if it's a single piece to Memphis, Tennessee, I'm going to look at the price, but I'm probably having a conversation with that customer saying, hey, man, look, I would love to do this for you, but the shipping cost is going to kill you.
Yeah.
Let me connect you with somebody in Memphis.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So we'll kind of look at that. Sometimes people want to work with us and only us, and I get it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But we've shipped all the way to Hawaii.
Okay.
So it's not that it can't be done. It really comes down to
the person and their situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that part. It's always important because I want to try to align you with the best possible people. Now, I definitely appreciate you sharing about your journey, your experience that you've had in finance and insurance, what you have going on now, what you've shared with me. I know you've been super successful. And what I would like to ask is if you could share some of those best practices or maybe those business skills that you have acquired and nurtured over time that has helped you to be successful, that maybe some of the entrepreneurs that are watching today can add to their mix and try to strive for that same success.
Okay. Yeah, I think the biggest thing, I'm a big believer in being intentional, right? I've talked about that a little bit. But the biggest thing I've learned kind of over the years as a professional, as a business person, really as a human, right? As a dad, as a partner, is results. We talk a lot about results in our culture, right? We live in a very results-oriented culture. What is results? So over the years, I've really actually developed what I call the 4 R's of results. So there's an equation, a math problem of what leads to results. Most people will tell you time and effort is results. I don't disagree with that, but that's not entirely the whole picture. The reason I've been successful, the reason I've been able to, no matter what, always sort of stand out above and beyond my peers in anything I've done, is really when I whittle it down to its simplest form is what I now call the 4 R's of results. So relationships are important, results are important, but relationships are more important, right? Respect, right? So when I walk into a room, it doesn't matter who you are. I don't care if you're the commissioner of Major League Baseball or Joe Dirt.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm going to treat you the same way. I'm going to treat you with the same respect. You don't have to earn my respect. It's given. Now you can lose it. It takes a lot to burn that bridge with me, but you can lose it. So relationships, respect, responsibility.
Yeah.
Right. Any job you do, any role you have, employee, boss, parent, spouse, partner, you have a responsibility to somebody, right? So own that responsibility and be on top of it, right? I have a responsibility not only to my company, but to the folks that I'm working with, whether it's a builder, a designer, a remodeler, just a homeowner that's doing a DIY project, whatever. I have a responsibility to them to be honest with them, to be upfront with them, to communicate with them, right? So I take that responsibility very seriously. And then last but not least is regiment, right? Whatever you do, like it takes, we all know, we've heard the phrase, right? It takes 10,000 hours to be an expert at anything, right? You got to figure out what regiment works for you, what routine that you repeat every single day works for you. So if you can get those 4 things down, you'll see the results. And I really think sometimes people get so focused on the results that they lose sight of what actually yields the results.
Yes.
So for me, it's those 4 R's: relationships, responsibility, respect, and regiment.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that. That's very important. I always like to highlight, those business skills that you're sharing, and I really can hone in on the regiment portion of it. It is making sure that you actually have an agenda for what you're doing.
Yep.
I share all the time, it's important that you create a path. You have some sort of guideline of where you're trying to go, because if you just have a destination, how are you going to get to that destination? And I think your regiment portion of it will help people to get there a lot faster. So definitely appreciate you sharing that. And we've talked a lot about your journey in business and, business skills and all those things. I want to kind of turn the corner a little bit and just talk about Danny. So let's just say that you have gotten a bunch of contractors, remodelers, and you just got some project managers all out the wazoo that are sending you opportunities. Time and money is not an issue at all. What is it that Danny would do with his time?
So pick of the litter in terms of career.
Listen,
I can do whatever I want.
You can do whatever, go whatever, do whatever. It's a imaginary world.
Oh, that's easy for me. I would be the next Andrew Zimmerman or Anthony Bourdain. All day. Travel, pay me to travel the world and eat, or even don't even have to pay me.
Yeah,
life is taken care of. Travel and eat.
Okay.
Good food, good wine, good people, good culture.
What would be one of those top destination places that you would like to go sample that food at first?
There's not one.
Okay.
Like one of my aims in life, one of my bucket lists is to hit all 7 continents.
Okay.
And I know the 7th one is really cold and there's nothing there, but all 7. So I haven't been to Australia yet, so that's very high on the list. I have not made it to Italy yet. I've been all over Europe, but I haven't actually been to Italy yet. One of the manufacturers that I work with, Fulgor Milano, is based in the Milan region of Italy. They actually, if you hit a certain goal, they actually put you in the hat for a drawing to win a trip to Italy. So I'm kind of hoping that I get that.
Okay.
But even if that doesn't happen, like at some point, Italy's on the list.
There. Okay.
But really, honestly, I just really love immersing myself in culture and learning about it and being able to cook and experience the food and the people and just different parts of the world. Don't get me wrong, America's amazing.
Yes.
I've traveled pretty much everywhere in the United States except Hawaii and Alaska. And from state to state, it's wildly different. The terrain, the people, the culture, the food, and I love that, man. But broadening that beyond the continental U.S. I've been to Canada, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Nicaragua, I've been to Haiti, I was born in England, so all over parts of Europe. Haven't been to Asia yet, haven't been to Australia yet.
Okay.
Obviously haven't been to Iceland and Greenland yet. But Finland, Sweden, Norway, all of it, man. There's not one place over the other. If I had to pick one, I haven't been to England since we left. I'd probably go there first.
Go back and touch some of that home dirt down there. I get it, man. Now, if the people that are watching today have questions about the appliances, about those skills that you were sharing, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
The best way is really by phone. My cell phone is widely available. People can call, text me anytime. My number is 404-384-7756. You can also email me at danny@srappliancedepot.com. I'm sure that'll be all kind of in the notes and stuff, but danny@srappliancedepot.com. If you want to find me online, social media, you can find me anywhere at Custom Spec Kitchen Pro.
Custom Spec Kitchen Pro.
Yep.
Man, we definitely appreciate you coming on the show today. It's been a pleasure hearing about your journey. And to all of the guests that come on, we always honor our guests because it's so challenging sometimes to share about things that happened in the past, the ups and downs, because a lot of people always just want to hear or show the good, not the bad part as well. So we appreciate that, and we always honor our guests by giving them the last word. So please look into the camera and tell the people something good.
My last word, be intentional, right? For me, that just means on purpose for a purpose. So whatever you do in life, whether it's your role as a parent, your role as a business person, entrepreneur, employee, boss, whatever. Just be intentional.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, man.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely appreciate it. And to everyone that is watching today, be kind and thanks.